Work or Study Part 1. 1. What subject are you studying? Because I want to become a math teacher in the United States, I'm studying English. Actually, I run a math academy in Korea, so I don't study math separately. 2. Do you like your subject? Yes, I've liked math since I was very young, and I think learning English has been my lifelong homework, so I am studying it with pleasure. 3. Why did you choose to study that subject? As I said, math has been my favorite subject since I was little, and English is the language of Americans. I have to do that. 4. Do you want to change your major? No, I don't want to change it at all. I enjoy studying both math and English. 5. Do you prefer to study in the mornings or in the afternoons? It's better to study in the morning. I feel like I can concentrate a little better, so I try to wake up as early as possible. 6. How much time do you spend on your studies each week? No matter how busy I am, I study English for at least 3 hours every day. On days when I'm not busy, I think I study English for about 6 hours. On average, I study English for 4.5 hours, which means I study English for about 30 hours a week. 7. Are you looking forward to working? Yes, I am looking forward to it. I know that teaching children is not an easy task. In particular, I heard that teaching in American schools is much more difficult than in Korea. However, I think it will be of great help when thinking about my career, so I am looking forward to it. 8. What technology do you use when you study? I am using ChatGPT when studying English. It's very convenient because I can have a conversation with it like a friend in English, and he also corrects my mistakes. Good suggestion Part 2. Describe a piece of good advice that you gave to someone. I once gave advice to a close friend of mine. My friend's parents divorced when he was young, and he lived only with his mother and older brother. His mother was raising 2 children alone, and her financial situation was very difficult. Now, my friend is running a small business, getting married, and becoming the father of 2 children. Not long ago, I met up with some other friends and we talked about the future. I realized that my friend's dream was very simple. He had decided that the current situation would not be much different in the distant future and was making plans correspondingly. According to many self-development books I've read, people with a poor past tend to try to return to that financial situation as if it was a habit. So that means life doesn't change. I told my friend to always dream big because people only achieve what they dream of. I also said to always imagine the goal vividly and take many actions to make it actually come true. Plus, it would be a good idea for him to actively engage in marketing for his current business through various social media platforms. My friend took that advice and recently opened a YouTube channel. Wild Animals Part 1. 1. Are there wild animals in your country? Korea is a small country, and there are currently few places for wild animals to live. The government is raising bears, attaching tracking devices to them, and releasing them into Yeri Mountain. 2. Have you ever been to a zoo or a safari park? Of course. Since I am a mother with a young child, I often go to zoos and safari parks. Because I love animals, I often went there even before my child was born. Now that I think about it, I think if I really liked animals, I shouldn't have gone to the zoo. 3. What is the animal you would like to see in the wild? My favorite animal is a tiger, but I don't want to see it in the wild because it seems too scary. I want to go to Africa and go on safari to see giraffes and zebras running around in the wild. 4. Are there TV programs about wild animals in your country? Not now. When I was young, there were a lot of documentaries about wild animals and quiz shows about them. I really enjoyed watching that quiz show, and every week my whole family would get together and watch it. Photos that make Part 2. Describe a drawing, painting that you like. I like the painting Sunflowers by Vincent van Gogh. I think the first time I saw a picture of it was in a textbook during art class in middle school. Van Gogh painted 4 sunflower paintings in a row, but my favorite picture is the third one. As the title of the painting suggests, it is a painting of sunflowers, and the vase contains several sunflowers in different shapes. Actually, the reason I like this picture initially started from superstition. Many people place pictures of ginkgo trees or sunflowers in their homes because of the superstition that yellow-colored pictures will attract money. For that reason, I also bought and solved a puzzle made with Vincent van Gogh's sunflower painting. It started with the plan to frame the puzzle and hang it at the entrance to the house. The 1,000-piece puzzle was really difficult. The interesting thing is that when you put the puzzle together like this, you can see each and every one of Van Gogh's brush strokes. You can only complete the puzzle by looking at the subtle differences in color and brush strokes. At the same time, I realized how exquisite and delicate Van Gogh's painting Sunflowers was. In the end, I came to like Van Gogh's Sunflowers as a painting itself. I heard that this is on display in a museum in Munich, Germany, and I hope to see it in person someday. Week Part 1-1. What is your favorite day of the week? I like Thursday the most. I have a good feeling that the weekend is coming soon. Friday seems to pass by so quickly, so I think Thursday feels just right. 2. What is your least favorite day? I hate Sundays, especially Sunday evenings, the most. Because the next day is Monday. It's not bad until Sunday morning, but it gets depressing by Sunday evening. 3. What is the busiest day of the week for you? I'm the busiest on Saturday because I usually go somewhere with my kids or do something active with him. My child is a lively 7-year-old boy, so it's harder just to stay at home. 4. Is there anything that you do every day? What I do every day is studying English and riding an indoor bike. I think it's important to study other countries' languages and exercise consistently for a long time, so I try to do 2 things every day, no matter how busy I am. 5. What do you usually do on weekends? I go to amusement parks, museums, and parks with my son and husband. I just want to rest at home, but it's impossible to stay still at home with my active and mischievous 7-year-old boy. 6. Are weekdays and weekends the same for you? No, weekdays and weekends are completely different for me. Weekdays are spent working on my self-development while my child is at school, and weekends are spent solely with my family. Scientific areas of Part 2. Describe an area of science, biology, robotics, etc., that you are interested in and would like to learn more about. My field of interest is brain science. I first learned about the law of attraction a few years ago, and became interested in brain science and quantum mechanics to explain it. I mainly encounter and learn about them through YouTube videos. It is said that humans only use 10% of their brain in their lifetime. Why is 90% not used? Perhaps it evolved into not using it because it was better to not need to use it or not know how to use it. What's interesting is that through training we can stimulate and use an area that we don't normally use. I once saw a TED Talk by a visually impaired person. He could use sound waves like a bat to see his surroundings. It uses areas of the brain that are not normally used by humans. I never imagined that a human could do this until I saw him. It's fascinating how many secrets are in 90% of the brain. I also have fun imagining what would happen if I could use areas of the brain that normal humans don't use. Maybe we can truly bring about the future, or even move through space and time like the Avengers Stranger. Traveling. Part 1. 1. Do you like traveling? I love to travel. This year, I went to Chuncheon domestically, and overseas to Da Nang in Vietnam, Osaka in Japan, and LA in the United States. 2. How often do you go traveling? If I had enough money and time, I would like to travel once a month. But in reality, that's not the case. So I think I go to a short trip about twice a year. 3. Where do you usually travel? I travel to LA often. I think I go at least once a year because my in-laws live there. I enjoy meeting my husband's friends and going to delicious restaurants. 4. How do you feel when you're traveling? I can learn many things by seeing and experiencing new things, and I feel refreshed when I see open nature. I think no trip can be perfect. So, by the time I return, I often feel the preciousness of ordinary daily life. Part 2. Describe exciting activities that you experienced with some else. An exciting activity I experienced was riding a horse along the beach. I have been horseback riding for about 3 years. At first, my older sister encouraged me to start it, but later on, I enjoyed it more. It became a hobby, so I went horseback riding 3 days a week. About 2 years later, my horseback riding teacher recommended that I try riding a horse on the beach. It was not easy to take a horse to the sea. You always have to take care of the horse's condition, and it takes a lot of time and money. I went with the teacher, the horse caretaker, and several other people. The experience was truly special. It was completely different from riding inside a horse riding range. It was an extremely exhilarating feeling to ride with a horse across a white sandy beach without any obstacles. Since horses are timid and strong animals, you must have the ability to control them before you can run with them outside. Although there were some dangerous parts, I was able to feel like I was one with the horse as I rode through the wind.